Excellent stuff. Okay, so I think we're ready to get started. So this is our last webinar of the day, but we will be running one pretty much every Wednesday, once a week, okay, for the foreseeable future. Okay, so hopefully everyone can hear me nice and loud. I will be taking questions. If I could just please ask if you could just wait to the end, just before you sort of drop those messages across, just so we can keep the flow of everything going nicely. If you do think of something though, and you know, sort of you burst it out onto the question box, that's not a problem. I will get to it at the end, not a problem whatsoever. Okay. So what we're going to be looking at today is the Salon mobile guest app and the custom CICs. Now, by CICs, I mean client information cards. Okay, now just to let you know, this is only applicable to the Elevate package. Of course, if you're not with the Elevate package, that's not a problem. I would definitely recommend you do upgrade to it. It does open up some fantastic features for you. So please do carry on watching if you're not on the Elevate package, but just give customer care afterwards a quick call just to discuss that moving forward. Okay, so in today's day and age of apps and technology, have you ever wished you had your very own mobile app? Okay, available in the App Store, and it can be customized to your business. Okay, so we do have the answer for this. Okay, so we can create your own Salon mobile guest app. Okay, and we also have client information cards. Now, these will be custom client information cards, and it will make capturing client information an absolute breeze. Okay. Your clients simply enter their details onto an iPad or a tablet, and your system will be instantly updated. So even if the clients fill out all of their information on a tablet, it will update your shortcut system directly at the reception desk. Okay, so today, towards the end of the session, we will look at creating your own custom form to better suit your needs. Okay, perfect. So what will we be covering today? We're going to be looking at setting up and customizing your very own mobile guest app. Now, it is as simple as 4 steps, okay? We're going to be looking at changing the themes and creating custom tiles within the Salon app. We'll also look at creating your very own bespoke custom client information cards and how your clients can access these and have full control, okay? So I know I definitely I recognize some faces. I know you've been on my webinars for the rest of the day. Thank you ever so much for joining me again. But just for those of you that aren't aware, you can contact us at education@shortcuts.co.uk. And of course, you can call us 24/7 on 0161 972 4900. And if you do require the education line, it is option 4. Perfect. So the first thing we're going to start with, ladies and gents, we are going to start with setting up the Salon mobile guest app. So there are just a couple of things we need to do in the background. Now, if you're on my webinar before, doing shortcuts marketing, this background work will already be done. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is open up our preferred internet browser and search for our online console, which is just console.shortcutsoftware.com. Okay. Type that URL in and just log ourselves in. So the first thing we need to do in the background, ladies and gents, is click onto the blue square down the bottom where it says Site Settings. We've clicked onto that. At the top, we just simply need to upload our logo. Now, if you have more than one site, you would just toggle between on the right-hand side. Okay. Now, the reason we upload our logo at the top here is you will see it says upload your logo to display on My Local Salon and the Salon app, okay? So in the About Me tile, which we will get to in just a couple of moments, you will see that your logo automatically pulls through into the About tile, and it will also be slap bang right at the top of your app, okay? Once you've uploaded it in here, it will pull through to the app. So that is the first thing we need to do, upload your logo at the top. And then if we continue scrolling down, you will need to pop in a description. Now you can pop in a short description, which is anything less than 225 characters, okay? If you do wish to write a little bit more than that, you can do so in the description box just here, okay? And you can fill out as much information as you want. And again, you will see these descriptions pull through to the Salon app. So it gives us a little heads up on the left-hand side, okay? So as we scroll right down to the bottom, just check our physical address is correct, the business hours are correct, and all importantly, right down the bottom, we have our main retail brands. Now again, this pulls through to the app as well, okay? And we can see that just there. The main product brands will be selected and listed in the Salon app. Okay, so it's as simple as just hitting the drop-down menu and uploading your main retail brands. Now, if you do have quite a fair few selection of retail brands, you just need to upload the ones just down the bottom, just down here. And when we're happy, we just click the green tick on the far right-hand side. Okay. So we've uploaded our retail brands, we've uploaded our short and long description, and we have also uploaded our salon logo. Now, to ensure we have a competitive edge on other salons, we can also upload some images of our salon. So once our clients have downloaded the app, they will be able to see exactly what our salon looks like. And to do so, again, in exactly the same screen, you will see a button on the right-hand side of the navigation bar where it says Site Gallery. And again, you can flick between at the top here. And on the left-hand side, again, you will see these these gallery images will be uploaded again in the Salon app. So you can see I've uploaded some ones here. And it's as simple as clicking on the Choose File button and uploading from your computer or your desktop or wherever it may be saved. Perfect. So that's just a tiny weeny bit of background work there to do first, ladies and gents. We just need to upload our logo. It will probably already be done if you are using things such as Shortcuts Marketing or our BookMe, our online booking. Okay, you'll probably already have it uploaded. Just make sure you've got your short and long description in there. Make sure you've got your retail brands, and of course, make sure you do upload some images if you wish to. Okay, so what we can now do is start to create our Salon mobile guest app. Now to do this, we're just going to go right back to the beginning by clicking on the Start button in the top left-hand corner. And down the bottom, we're going to click on the tile with the red word the white word on the red background where it says My Salon app. Okay, so like I said at the beginning, it is a very simple 4-step process. So just wait for that to load up. Perfect, there we go. So the first step of our 4-step process is to type in our app business code. Now this isn't something you needed to download or anything like that. You just simply type in the name of your salon. Okay, so to make it nice and easy, I've just popped in Shortcut Software just there. And you'd click the check availability button and you will see your code is available to be used. Now, when you're happy with your app, you will see you have a tick box on the left-hand side, and this can be downloaded. Okay, so that's step 1. Nice and easy. You just pop in your salon name, and you click the Save button. It's as simple as that. We now have the other 3 steps to work through, and they are just underneath here, where it says Dashboard, Tiles, and Theming. Now, it is entirely up to you, ladies and gents, which order you do this in. It doesn't matter. However, as a handy tip, I would always start with theming. Okay, but like I said, it doesn't really matter which order you do this in. So if we click onto theming, you will see straight away we have a little preview on the right hand side. Okay, so any changes we make will be shown in this preview here. Now, if you're not very technologically minded or you don't have very much time, we have made it very simple for you. We have added in some default themes, again, to save you a little bit of time here. So we have some default themes on the left hand side. So you can see we have our Barber Black, and by clicking on the drop down arrow, it will open up all of our other default themes available to us. So let's say we wanted to look at our beauty pink. We click the apply button, and there we go. We can see it has now been applied. Okay. But let's say we wanted to take this one step further and we wanted to be really custom and make it much more bespoke. We can change each of these individual specific colors ourselves and make it really, really custom and really, really unique. Okay, so you'll see on the left-hand side, we can break down what each of the different sections of the app will be. So you see we've got the background color here, and that is this bit just here, this sort of off-white color. The top bar background is this section directly at the top here. The bottom bar background is this section just down here. The navigation and the dashboard tiles is the section around your tiles, okay? The headings, these are things such as welcome back. Input color background, that is things such as this box here where you would type in your passwords. The button color text is the text color on top of these buttons here, such as confirm or cancel. The affirmative and negative action buttons are our cancel and our confirm buttons. I would usually recommend keeping those red and green applicable. and we have our in progress indicator. So you know what it's like when we load something up on our phone, we sometimes get the little loading bar and a loading circle that spins around to let us know something is happening. That's what that is. Okay, so let's say we wanted to change the color of the background to a more complete crisp white. We would click on the white section just here, and we would just move the small black dot in the top left-hand corner just directly up to the white section just there. And we would click the choose button. And you'll see it's now made it a very crisp, bright white. Okay. So let's say with our top bar background, we wanted to change the color. Okay. Click onto that, and on the right-hand side, you will see we have the different hues available to us. And we can move this slider bar up and down to choose one of the primary colors or any one of the colors from the hue swatch. So let's say I wanted to make it a nice dark blue. I can then use and move my black selector, drop it there, and I will now have a very nice dark blue color at the top. Now, let's say I wanted to use that exact color over and over again. We can copy something that is called the hex code. Now, the hex code, if you think of this, is basically the ID of the color. Think of it as like the number plate for your car. Okay, so you'll see for this specific color here, we have these random series of numbers and letters. And this is what we call the hex code. So if I wanted to use this exact blue color over and over again, I would simply copy it. Maybe open up my bottom bar background. And then just simply paste that in there. And you'll see it has made the exact same blue color. Now, for those of you that are familiar with things such as Microsoft Paint and Adobe Photoshop, that kind of thing, you can also select the color with the pipette or the color dropper when you've opened up your image. So maybe you want to take the exact color from your logo, and you can also grab the hex code from there. If you're not able to grab the hex code, it's typically got the hashtag in front of it. There are also simple programs you can open up on Google, such as hex code converter, that kind of thing, where you can type in the different colors. But hopefully, if you're going down that route and choosing the colors from maybe your logo, you've already got a good understanding of how to grab hex codes. If not, it's not a problem. Please do let me know at the end of the session. I can show you quickly on one of my sort of test images. I can grab the hex code there, but I won't go into it in the webinar if that's okay, because I don't want it to detract too much of what we're going to be going through. Okay, perfect. So there we go. We can see how quick and easy it is to make our app much more colorful, brighter, and much more bespoke. And of course, much more like our logo and our relevant Salon colors. Okay. When you're happy with all of these, again, they all work in exactly the same way, changing the hex code, changing the color. When you're completely happy, all we need to do on the far right-hand side is simply click the save button. Now, you can come in and change the colors at any point, even if you've activated the app a couple of years ago. That's not a problem. You can come in and change it at any point. You've still got full control. Okay. So now what we need to do are the other two steps which make up our app. And again, that is dashboard and tiles. Okay, now again, it's up to you which order you decide to do these in. However, I would now move to the tiles section. Okay. So, like in shortcuts, we've made it a lot easier for you. We've done most of the work for you. So we have added in some default tiles. Now, all of our default tiles do have default imagery, and I would definitely recommend you change those images for the tiles. If you're not quite sure what I mean by a tile, that is basically the buttons which make up the app. So you can click onto it, and it will take you to a different aspect of the app. So I'm now going to outline for each and every one of you what those default tiles will be. So the first default tile is My Appointments. So if we click onto that, you can see all of the relevant information down the bottom. So you can see the label name is My Appointments, and you can see the display image for this particular tile is right down here. And if you wanted to change it, you just simply click the Choose File button and upload it, just like we've been doing throughout the session. So the My Appointments tile, that is where clients can log in and they can view their past appointments and view any future appointments that they may have. Okay, so again, they will sign up to it. For them to sign up, they can simply use their Facebook login details if they want to, or if they've already used the online booking feature, they can use the same login details for that as well. Okay, that links directly with your shortcut system. Now, the About tile, again, if we click onto that, and if we scroll right down to the bottom again, you will see we have a default tile there as well. Okay. Now, the About tile will display all of the relevant information for your salon, such as those opening hours, the logo, and the short and long description that we spoke about at the very early stages of this webinar. The My Profile, that is where clients can update all of their personal information. Now, if they change their last name, their address, their phone number, and so forth, it will link directly to your shortcut system. Okay, so it's a great way for them to have control over their personal details. The Book Now button is the only tile that doesn't have a default image. What it has is a live bar graph showing the availability of that day. Of course, you could upload your own image if you wish to. Okay, and again, we can see that down the bottom just here. Meet the Team will display a list of all of your staff members, and it will also pull through any images you have uploaded in your staff member's profile. Clients can also book directly through the Meet the Team tile. Specials will display a list of any special offers you have in My Local Salon. And services will display a list of any services that you offer. Now, yours will probably say news. We've changed it to Facebook news here. News is typically Facebook. However, it is by default made inactive because I will show you how to create your own custom Facebook tile. Check-in is if you're using a check-in app. Now, don't worry, you will not have API telemetry on yours, okay? It's because I'm on a test system. And then we have visit history and loyalty. Visit history, again, is by default made inactive because we don't want clients accessing their visit history. And loyalty is if you are using loyalty in the app, again, a feature only available to our Elevate package custom. Okay. So those are all of our default tiles. Like I said, I would recommend you go in and change all of the imagery for your default tiles. Okay, you don't have to, but I would usually recommend you do so. Okay, but what we can now do is we can start to add some custom tiles. Again, taking it that one step further to make it a much more custom app. Okay, now you can create a custom tile with anything that has a web page, anything that has a URL. So it could be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, a shop, a blog, a YouTube channel, anything like that. Anything with a web link will work perfectly fine. Okay, so you'll see I've already got some here. So if we go down to Instagram, these are ones I've already created beforehand. You will see there's my Instagram label name, the link just here, and you will see we have a display image. Now, of course, the display image will just be grabbed from Google, that kind of thing. Okay, you do have to pop the link in there, and again, it does have to be the full link with the HTTP. Okay. So to create other custom tiles, you simply just click the new tile button. You would fill out all of the relevant information there. Okay. That is step 2. That is looking at our default tiles and creating any custom tiles. Okay, so just to reiterate there, we've uploaded our logo. We've added a short and long description in site settings at the beginning. We've gone through and added in our app business code, which is simply just our salon name to make it nice and easy for our clients to search for us in the app. And what we're doing now, we've gone through our theming. We've made it nice and custom. We've changed the hex code. We've changed the colors. And what we're just doing now, ladies and gents, is just editing our tiles. So last but not least is step number 4, okay, which is where we can edit the layout of where the tiles will sit. So we can chop and change them around, maybe sit them in a different location. And for this, we simply click onto Dashboard on the right-hand side. And again, you will see you have a dashboard layout on the left-hand side. So if we wanted to move any of these tiles around, you just simply click and just drag and just move them to wherever you want them to go. And it is as simple as that. You just click and drag. Now, if you want to make any active tiles inactive, you simply click onto it and drag it to the top right-hand corner where the section is where it says inactive tiles. And if you wish to make a tile that is inactive active, you just reverse the procedure. We click and then we drag. Now, just to let you know, we can only have a maximum of 3 tiles in a row. So what I mean by this is like website, about, and then loyalty, there's 3 in a row. If we try and add another one, it will simply pop it onto the row underneath, okay? And again, you've got full control over all of this. So you can just click and drag and just move them around. And when you're happy, you just simply click the save button to finalize that. Now, as moving forward, what I would usually recommend, ladies and gents, once you have saved your app and you want it to be downloaded by your clients, you would click back onto the My Salon app settings. You would pop a tick in the Activate app for custom download, and they would be able to download it. So how do clients download the app? What they would do, they would go onto the App Store or the Google Play Store, and they would search for something called the My Salon app. And it has a green logo with some scissors in it. Okay, so it's the My Salon app. Once they've clicked onto that and downloaded it, they then open it up. It will then ask for you to search for a salon. They will simply search for the relevant salon. Once they've searched for that salon, it will default back to your salon every single time. So when they open up the app, they do not need to search for your salon again. It will automatically default to that salon. If they want to make an appointment, again, they would just log themselves in either via Facebook, sign up, or simply use the online booking details that they've used before. They would click onto one of two tiles. They can click the Book Now button, or they can simply click on the Meet the Team if they weren't quite sure who they had before. Click on the Meet the Team and they can book directly through there, and it will make an appointment into your shortcut system. Okay, and that is how you configure your My Salon app. Now, if there's any questions for that, again, please just do wait to the end and I'll be more than happy to assist with that there. But that is how we configure our My Salon app. So what we're now going to do, ladies and gents, is move towards our custom client information cards, okay? Now, our custom client information cards are essentially a digital business form for your business, a digital record form for your business or for your salon, okay? So again, we're just going to go right back to the beginning. You'll recognize all of this from the beginning of the webinar. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we're going to click onto client information, where the three people are sat. And just give that just a couple of seconds just to load up. Perfect. So once that's loaded up, what we now need to do is start to create our forms. So you don't need to choose a relevant site here. You don't need to do that at all. You just need to click in the top right-hand corner where it says forms. Okay, you don't need to worry about switching between salons at this point or anything like that. So you click onto forms, and then you can say on this screen, you can create new forms, edit existing forms, and choose which forms sites can use. Okay, now if you want to create your very own custom client information form for clients to fill out, you do not necessarily need to use our standard shortcuts client information card. Okay, so you can take the tick out of this box where it says continue to allow sites to use the standard client information form in addition to the forms below. Now I'm going to leave that on there. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that towards the end of the session. But the standard client information form is the one that the clients have already been filling out on the tablets, you know, first name, last name, phone number, home address, that kind of thing. Okay, now as you will see, we have lots of different client cards here already created. So we've got an allergy test, an IPL consultation form, and so forth. Okay, so we're going to create a brand new one for the purpose of this webinar. So in the top right hand corner, we just simply click where it says create a form. Now there is really no right or wrong way of doing this, just to make sure we adhere to all rules and regulations of our country. Okay, so right at the top, we're going to pop in the form name. Okay, so I'm just going to call this my January webinar form. Okay, and this is actually, I'm going to make this a patch test form because that's a very common one we get asked to make it a patch test form. Okay, we would simply pop a tick in this box to make it active. Retention history. We can store a record of this form each time a client completes it. Okay, now remember, this is a digital form, so this will always be done on a tablet or an iPad, that kind of thing. Renewal frequency, so once only, every visit, or every X amount of months. This could be for our skin test forms, our patch test forms. An employee review. Choose whether employees need to review and accept the information entered by the client before it is saved. Okay, so what this means is once a client has finished filling it out on the tablet or the iPad, they will then hand that back to the stylist or the therapist, and it's up to your staff member to review it is being filled out totally correct. Again, giving you a bit more of a safety net that is being filled out correctly. Okay, so just like our app, underneath you will see we have the layout. Okay, and creating the custom client information form is basically just a series of steps of working between what we call shortcuts client fields and extra form fields. Okay, so shortcuts client fields is information that will update the client card, okay, such as first name, last name, phone number, address, that kind of thing. It is all personal information. And extra form fields is information we will use to build our form, such as question boxes, tick boxes, check boxes, drop-down menus, that kind of thing. Okay, now I will make a generic form for you just so you get the idea of how this works. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is just expand extra form fields, and at the top I like to pop a heading in. So for those of you that are familiar with GCash, you may remember we used to say you click on the left and you edit it on the right. Okay, so you'll see on the left hand side there's my heading, and I can edit this heading on the right hand side just towards the bottom. Okay, so you'll see I've popped in my test form there. Okay, now again, we want to make this nice and custom and really bespoke to our salons. So what we can then do is add an image or a logo directly underneath this. And again, under extra form fields, you will see a button where it says image/logo. And again, you can just upload one of these images from your computer. And again, we click on the left and we edit it on the right hand side. So we're going to click the choose file button. If I just use this, maybe if I just use this happy birthday one just for the time being. Okay, now of course if the image is far too big, if we scroll right down to the bottom, we can use our arrows or we can type in a custom amount if we wish to. Okay, it's entirely up to you, have a play around with this, but I would always recommend you keep this box ticked where it says maintain aspect ratio. Now what I would also recommend is you maybe align the image to the center. Okay, so we've uploaded our title and we've now uploaded our image. Now, if at any point you wanted to remove anything that we've already created because we weren't happy with it, you will always see these crosses in the top right-hand corner. And that will simply remove it for us. So now we've added in our title or our image, if applicable, we can now start to add in all of the client's personal information for them to fill out on this form. So again, this time we're just going to expand shortcuts client fields. And we can click first name, last name, address, address line 2, town, postcode, and so forth. All of the personal information that we want to capture from the client. Now, please do not worry. If you have already captured their first name, last name, phone number, or so forth anywhere on shortcuts, this information will be automatically generated for them. So they won't need to constantly fill out their first name, last name, and so forth. Okay, this is only for them to fill out if they haven't already filled it out. Okay. So we've got first name, last name, address, and so forth. And you'll see there is lots of different information for them to fill out. Okay. Now, I would usually recommend you add the data privacy policy. And you will see it says privacy policy text configured within shortcuts POS. POS stands for point of sale. Now, what this means is because we're looking at a very small draft preview here, it isn't actually going to show your full privacy policy. But when you actually do it on a real life scenario on your tablet, it will pull through your policy text for the client to read. Okay, that's just saying because we're looking at a draft preview, there's not enough room to pull all of that information through. And of course, we can add the accept data privacy policy there as well. Okay, so that's the basics of creating our custom client information form. We've got all of the personal information we require from the client. Now, what we can do is we can take it up another step. We can start to ask questions. Again, we're making this client information form really custom. Okay, and as we've decided we're going to do a patch test form, we're going to start asking some relevant questions for our patch testing. So again, we minimize shortcuts client fields and we just expand extra form fields to show all of the information we can use to build our forms. Okay, so we've already used heading. The date box will pop a date in there. So if you want to have today's date in there, or if you want to maybe ask when they last had a skin test, they can pop that in there in the date section. Okay, so we have something called a single line text. Now, a single line text is where you can write on a single line and a client can respond on a single line. So maybe if you want to ask a question that only requires a very short answer, okay, so they can only respond to you on a single line. But if you're thinking, okay, Chris, but I want to ask a question that requires quite an in-depth response, we have for that, so please don't worry. Underneath that, you will see we have multi-line text. So, of course, you can write on a multi-line, and the client can respond on as many lines as they want to. So if there's something you really need to be made aware of, so perhaps if you're asking some medical related questions, and you really want them to be nice and thorough with the response, you would use the multi-line text, okay? And of course, the good thing about it being on an iPad is they can type away on it. They can tap away with the keyboard. So we have a display text. Now, a display text clients can't respond to. So if you were to click onto display text, you would just simply write some information about this form. So again, on the right-hand side, I would just write some information. Okay, so we can see that there. Now, you may wish to move some of this information up or down if it's applicable. Again, where the cross is, you just click the arrow to just move it either up or down. Okay. So we've added in a single line of text, we've added in a multi-line of text, and we've just added in some display text again to make our form look a little bit more custom and a little bit more informative. But you may be thinking, well, what about if I want them to answer a question where I give the answer? So I need to be made aware of some specific illnesses they may or may not have. Well, now what we have is something called a multiple choice. Okay. Now the multiple choice, this is where you will ask a question and you will give the answers for them to choose. Okay, so I shall give you an example now. Okay, so I've written in my label text, do you have any medical conditions? Now you'll see on the left hand side, it's popped it in a bit of a square. Okay, so if you're thinking that doesn't look very aesthetically pleasing, underneath we can change that. So where it says label position, we click above the field and you will see it pops in a nice straight line for us. With any question you ask the client, you can say whether it's going to be mandatory, which of course will pop little red asterisks next to it and means this client has to be answered. Now, please don't worry about multiple choice number of columns for the time being. A lot of people at this stage, they get confused and they think that is the amount of answers that we can give for the client to choose from. It isn't. I'm going to touch on that in just a moment. Okay, so the multiple choice question box, this is where we will give the answers for the client to choose. So we're going to give the answers, okay? So underneath on the options, we will give those medical conditions. So we're going to say deep vein thrombosis. So once we've typed it, we simply click the green cross to add that in. And you'll see this option is now choosable. We can add some more in. So you can now see with your multiple choice questions, they can choose a mixture of them or all three of them if applicable. Now, going back to our multiple choice number of columns, again, this isn't how many answers you can give, it's basically how many you can have in a column. So at the moment, you'll see we've got them in a row of 3. So 1, 2, 3. And if we change that down to 2, it pops it in a column of 2. And again, if we change it to 1, it stacks them all on top of each other. Again, it's just how you want it to look, okay? So whatever you think is easier on the eye or exactly how you want it to look. Okay? So that was our multiple choice. We also have a single choice. Now, a single choice, again, is where you will give the answers, but the client can only choose one answer or the other, so not multiple choice. So this is typically if you're asking a question where the answer may be a simple yes or no. And again, we have the same label positions available to us. Above the field, we'll pop it in a nice line. And again, we can say whether it's going to be mandatory. Now, for these answers, because we can only give the two, they're going to be vertically or horizontally. And again, in the options down the bottom, we just type them out and click on the green cross. So you'll now see they can only choose one answer or the other. You'll also see we have a number section. This is where the answer to a question you ask will be a number, okay? So for instance, if I click onto number and in the label text, so how many glasses of water do you drink a day? And again, we have the same label positions, and we can also add in a default value. The default value will be the number that is shown by default, but of course they can delete that out and change it, or they can use the arrows to scroll up and down. We also have a checkbox. So this could be where they answer the question by simply popping a tick in a box. So we can say, have you had a skin test in the last 6 months? And again, you can add in a default value for it to be checked or not checked. So they have to tick it themselves or untick it. Again, however you wish it to look. Now we do have a drop-down list. The drop-down list is pretty much exactly the same as your single choice, apart from the 2 answers that will be given will be from a drop-down menu, okay? So maybe if you don't want any of the answers to be seen straight away, if they're a little bit more personal, some of the answers they'll be answering, they can be hidden behind a drop-down list, okay? Now, a fantastic feature we have is our terms and conditions block. So again, because this is on a tablet, you can get clients to sign it using their finger or a stylus. I usually wouldn't recommend a pen. So we can add in some terms and conditions. So again, we click onto the terms and conditions block. And I'm going to say these are Chris's terms and conditions. Now you can accept this waiver via a checkbox or via a signature box, as I was saying, where they can sign in this box just here. Now, in this big white box down the bottom, please don't be too put off by this. I know there's a lot of different buttons and options to choose from. The first thing you do once you've filled out your heading text is in the big white box down the bottom. This is where you would fill out all of your terms and conditions. Now, what we have here, where it says company name, site name, and so forth, these are what we call personalized fields. So if any of that information is uploaded anywhere into shortcuts, you can click onto it and it will pull that information through. So as an example, when you first got shortcuts with us, you may have uploaded your site address or your registered business number, but off the top of your head, you cannot remember what that is. By clicking onto that, if that information is stored somewhere in the shortcuts database, it will pull it through. And of course, it saves you having to type it out. So basically, it's just a bit of a shortcut for you. Okay. And then when you're happy, what we now need to do is simply click the save button in the top right hand corner. Okay, now the reason we do this, we always click the save button in the top right hand corner, of course, so it saves it, but it will highlight anything we haven't completely filled out. Okay, looks like I have. Save was successful, and it takes us directly back to this screen here. And if we go right down the bottom, you will see it is my latest form just down here. And you will see it is active, and it can be edited at any point. And that is how we create a custom card. Now, just before we wrap things up, ladies and gents, the last thing I'm going to do is show you how you use the custom client information card. Now, hopefully by this point, you're already utilizing what we call our online CICs, which is where you have your standard shortcuts client information card already used on a tablet. So you're already giving a tablet to clients to fill out all of their personal information. If not, not a problem. Let me know at the end, and I can get one of the videos sent across where it will show you how to set one of your tablets up so you can use it on the salon floor to fill out client information cards. Okay, so how do we use our tablet to use our custom client information cards? So I'm just going to go right back to here where it says client information card section. Now again, you should already have this set up on your tablet. You would log yourself in with a PIN. Again, hopefully this is familiar with you. You've used this before. You would search for the client, again, in exactly the same way as, like I said, hopefully you're already using this. And then this time, when you click onto client mode, you will see you have all of the new custom client information cards available to you. So there's the one we just did, the January webinar patch test form. We would click onto that, hand the tablet to our client, and ask them to fill out all of their information. So you will see here for my client Amy, it has already filled out all of her information. Okay, and like I said, now it is pulling through our privacy policy text. Okay? So before it was just pulling through that options configured in, and I said it to pull it through, and there it is. And then they can sign it right down the bottom, just like that. And then when they're happy, they click the done button. It will save the information and it will log you out, and then you can hand the tablet back. Now, I appreciate we sort of rushed that last little bit there, but hopefully, like I said, you're already utilizing the tablet for the online CIC, so it was just simply a case of choosing the correct custom CIC form. And that is it, ladies and gents. That brings us to our day of webinars. If you did join me for all four, thank you ever so much. If you didn't, if you just joined me for that one, thank you ever so much. If you do have any questions, please feel free to fire those across to me now. Okay, so that looks like that's it for all of the questions for today. If you do think of anything, please feel free to just drop us an email, or of course you can give us a call. But if not, thank you ever so much for joining me this afternoon. Like I said, you will be sent the recording within the next 24 hours. Please stay tuned. We will have next Wednesday, we'll have another full day of webinars, and we're going to talk about some other things as well. But if not, thank you ever so much for joining me today. Hope you found it informative. Look forward to speaking to you all again soon. Thank you ever so much. Bye-bye for now.